Alright, training mission number 4, basic navigation tutorial. Now this is kind of, oh look, 1994. Taking it back. Yeah, I think I have my Siamese Dream CD ready to throw into the Walkman. Yeah, so this is actually what I'm super keen on learning about the Viggen. It seems like that navigation system down here is going to be pretty damn involved, so let's see if we can get started on that. And disclaimer, I may be...
Good afternoon and welcome to the first navigation lesson. Today we'll cover the fundamentals of the navigation system and basic waypoint navigation. We will take off from Senaki Air Base and follow a short route through northwest Georgia. We have already loaded the data cartridge for this mission with 4 waypoints, B1 through B4, so we will not be setting up any specific coordinates today.
Okay.
Please refer to the briefing picture or the in-game knee board for an overview of the flight plan.
Briefing picture. I guess it's not there yet. Knee board. Oh. Yeah, I guess so the knee board shows up on my left monitor, which doesn't show up on my recording. So sorry about that. But what I was going to say is my disclaimer, maybe binding a few of these. Okay, so J, let's see. Manager 2, let's see. That's Spock mode. No, wait, that's AFK. That's AFK is automatic throttles, SAS, and Spock mode stability augmentation system. Let's go with auto throttle. I'm not going to use right now. Autopilot, altitude hold. Navigation, digital panel, navigation panel, waypoint 1 through 9. Seat adjustment, how's that part of navigation? Okay, it doesn't matter. Rotary, clockwise. Oh, this thing. Okay, that might need to be bound. Altimeter, pull out. Yeah, sorry, it's early morning so far. So I think this is the tills. Yes, it is. Okay, so that will be... I don't know what it does yet. I guess we'll find out.
Before we take off, we'll review the primary navigation instruments.
Excellent.
First off is the Attitude Director Indicator, or ADI, which displays the aircraft orientation in attitude as well as displaying heading. Additionally, the yellow steering bars are used to indicate the steering commands in various modes. For most navigation, it will display the commanded course towards the next waypoint as well as the commanded altitude. In most cases, keeping the vertical bar centered will direct you towards the current waypoint.
Okay.
The steering bars are also used for steering commands when using the instrument landing system.
We don't see those right now, by the way. There should be those yellow needles like you'll see on like an ILS or in the A10's HSI.
The course ring around the radar will display the current heading on the 12 o'clock position. The yellow heading indicator shows the course commanded by the navigation system towards the current waypoint. The destination indicator displays the current waypoint selected. As we are currently on the starting airfield, it indicates this by the letters LS. The distance indicator displays the distance to the selected waypoint. The indicator is graduated between 0 and 40 kilometers. On distances greater than 40 kilometers, it rescales to indicate metric miles. In order to manually select waypoints, the data selector should be set to the mode AKT POS, which will also display the current position as well as indicate the status of the navigation system. Set the data selector to AKT POS. Waypoints are selected by pressing the corresponding waypoint button. You may cycle through the waypoints entered if you wish. The primary landing site is selected by pressing the L Mål button. The selected waypoint will be indicated on the destination indicator. You should also see the heading towards the waypoint on the course ring. Reselect the starting airbags LS when you're done looking through the waypoints to continue.
Okay, so it looks like if you click on waypoints that don't exist in the system, it just doesn't do anything. So let's see. Is that your landing start, landing finish? Both the same place in this case. Let's go with B1. I know these mean something, and that's kind of, maybe they'll describe it here. Reselect the LS when you are done looking through. Okay. Boom.
Now go ahead and taxi towards the runway and take off. The first waypoint, B1, will be automatically selected after takeoff. Reach an altitude of 200 meters to continue.
Turn right, then left. So, the impression I get from the Viggen is that so much of it is, I want to say automated. It's just loaded with pilot assists and, oops, I picked the wrong line here. Kind of stuff that you pre-plan on the ground, and the actual flight is extremely easy. Managing all the systems inside may be a little bit more of a challenge.
Call key. In field 1-1. Request takeoff. Field 1-1. Call key. You are cleared for takeoff when ready. Climb 300 at QFE 29.89.
What's wrong with my nose wheel steering here? Come on, guys. Come on. I have to keep... Yeah, I guess that's probably the bug they were talking about. Okay. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Because there's no nose wheel steering lockout, it's really important that you get the runway lined up before you start. Very much unlike what I'm actually doing right now. Ah. So you, in this plane, important to leave the gear down for a bit as you accelerate, because once you retract the landing gear, the flaps come up as well. They're the same switch.
The first waypoint, B1, should be displayed on the destination indicator. The waypoint should be towards the northwest on the south side of the ridge, south of the city of Sugdidi. The middle of the heads-up display will be slightly offset to the side towards the waypoint.
Okay.
When the dot in the middle of the horizon line on the heads-up display is at the center, you should be heading towards the waypoint. You may engage the autopilot in attitude or altitude at any time if you wish.
Personally, I'd like to wait until I know what I'm doing to start using any autopilot. Usually. So there's your attitude hold, or altitude hold, and There's attitude. Anyway, just want to see what it did. It's kind of weird watching distance to waypoint closing on an analog dial like that. Usually it'll be either in your HUD or on one of those, what do you call it? Looks more like this. Like if you have DME or Takeoff. Maybe there's something to be said for this autopilot. There we go. That's a little better.
On passing the first waypoint, the next waypoint, B2, will be selected automatically. It will be the north tip of the island in the Nguri River. Pressing the reference button on the control stick while in the air will set the current altitude as the reference altitude for the pole track on the heads-up display.
Reference button.
This feature can be used for altitude keeping purposes in order to remind you if you're above or below the set altitude.
Reference button. That's a new one to me. Let's see. Why not? So I guess I'm a little high? Is that what that's telling me? So I guess those, if I'm reading this HUD correctly, it looks like I'm kind of corroborating what I see in the HUD with what I see over here on my ADI. It looks like those lines should be, those vertical lines should all be kind of touching the horizontal bar to kind of put you at the desired altitude for that waypoint. Correct? I don't know. They seem to be agreeing with each other more or less here now. And I'll swing in to line up that vertical yellow bar on the ADI. That should start bringing the HUD picture to the left in the HUD. Right. There we go. Well, they're almost in agreement, but, you know, close enough. It's actually too low, so I want to climb a little bit. There we go.
Proceed to the next waypoint, B3, which should be off the coast to the northwest.
Have I hit B2 yet? Looks like I'm about to. Well, let's watch and make sure it switches over. Boom. Okay. Man, the HUD symbology in the Viggen just looks super awesome. Oh, look, there's little, there's your compass tape down there low. You know, heading 330. Okay, 325, 320, 315, 310, etc., etc. So I was talking earlier about the top 3 modules I would like to see in DCS, and tied for number 1, like I said, is the F-20 Tiger Shark. And oh, I see, it's AGL, not ASL, so that means, okay, so as you go over mountains, this thing adjusts. Interesting. Uh-oh. Somebody's waking. I don't know if you guys heard that. My daughter's taking a nap. If she wakes up, I'm going to have to pause this video and get back to you. Anyway, I was talking about the, yeah, sometimes she makes these little, anyway, you're not here to hear about my baby, as adorable as she is. Anyway, I was talking about the F-20 and then the OV-10 Bronco. Those would be my top 2, and I can't figure out which one I prefer. They're just both super cool. Number 3, it was the AV-8B Harrier, but they're already making that. So I had to pick a new number 3, and I think it's going to be the P-38 Lightning. Everybody likes the P-38.
Continue towards waypoint B4.
I'll go to B4 when I'm damn good. Okay, yeah, sure. Oh, look. Hey, Russian shipping. I'm sure we'll be dealing with that later. Incidentally, if you ever get the chance to go to Battleship Park in Rhode Island, you'll see the Battleship Massachusetts, the submarine Lionfish, which is super cool, which you can buy a model kit of. And they have a Russian kind of missile cruiser thing. A PT boat, but they have that too. The PT boat is pretty cool. They have something else. They didn't... It was a Russian missile frigate destroyer thing. It's pretty small-ish. But they didn't really have a kind of a Western equivalent to classify it as. So anyway, it looked kind of like those ships we just overflew. I'm gonna have to look up and see if they actually are the same class. Probably not. Yeah, P-38 Lightning. They're already making the Corsair. They're already making the P-47. P-40's on the way. A little short on Axis fighters and Russian fighters, of course, but hey, those are hard to get your hands on to get good data. Everybody would like to see the Zero, I think. ME-262 is on the way. Man, I mean, anytime I think of a plane I'd like to see in DCS, I go down my list and, oh, hey, look, there it is. One place where I seem to differ from most people who play DCS on the plane they want to see is the F-16. Like, I think the F-16 is awesome, but if you really want a good simulation of that, they already have it. BMS is exceptional. So, check that out. It's practically free. You can get Falcon 4 for like $5 or $10 on goodoldgames.com, and then you can fly a pretty much DCS level simulation of the F-16 with a dynamic campaign, which is super cool. And as far as I know, fairly unique. Last waypoints. L1 is selected automatically. Anyway, so to me, if you're going to develop a DCS module, it would be it's so much work involved. It would seem worthwhile, more worthwhile anyway, to pick something that is completely unlike anything that we have in any flight simulator. Hence my desire for the F-20 and the OV-10 Bronco. And this Viggen is a good example of that. Like, who would have thought, that it's like the Viggen, when you think of, at least me, when I think of cool planes, the Viggen just doesn't pop into my mind, but it definitely should. And, this module kind of, just goes to show there's always more to experience and learn about. The same was true with the Mirage. I'm still learning that, but it's not a plane I had any particular, interest in. But once I tried the module, I was like, hey, this thing is pretty cool. Like, who knew? I'm having the same kind of feeling with the Viggen. It's just super cool, and it's like shame on me for not having studied it more, And I have to confess a bit of American bias there. I mean, I do have interest in foreign aircraft, of course, but just the information available to us in the United States is much more. Of course, it's we have easier access to information on planes that we developed here. Let's try this autopilot out. So this is a cool feature, which I haven't tried yet. If you're on autopilot and you hit aileron trim, it puts you in a perfectly balanced turn in the direction that you trimmed it in. So trim right, right-hand turn. I still haven't decided if I like that or not. See, I'm drifting a bit to the right. Seems, and I'm getting closer to the waypoint anyway, so that'll cause some more rapid changes in your symbology. I haven't tried landing this yet.
Successfully navigated to the designated landing area. This concludes the basic navigation lesson.
I'm sure we'll try that next mission. Anyway, thanks for watching. And next one will be landing, I think. Later.